And why is Xaden like Edward from Twilight? Who the f is Derek? The funny person always dies, even though he says he's okay, because he ate the cake when he wasn't supposed to eat the cake. And I was like, dang. Hi you guys, so today is Thursday, and today is the day I think it would be best to start my reading vlog. I got most of my homework out of the way, so I should have lots of time this weekend to read. And so I'm going to start today. I think I'm going to try to read for about an hour. I'm around 50 pages in the book already. Just an FYI, this will be a spoiler reading vlog. So if you haven't read Onyx Storm, just know I will be giving my full thoughts, spoiler and all. So yeah, let's get started. So at the end of the prologue in the beginning, real quick, it says, there's only one person besides Bodhi and Garrick I can trust to prioritize Xaden's best interest. And that was Imogen. And like, she was telling them to go get Imogen. Like, she wants to talk to her. And like, I was super excited to get to chapter 1. Cause like, I was so curious, like, what's she gonna say? And I wanted to like, see that conversation. And then it completely skipped it. It's at 2 weeks later. And I was like, dang. So I was like already like a little upset about that because I really wanted to like see that happen, but it's okay.
It's fine.
But yeah, I'm on chapter 3, so I'm actually not 50 pages in. I'm 25 pages in. And am I the only one that skips this part right here and just starts down there? Because I do it every single time. So I'm going to get started reading it now. So I just finished chapter 3 going into chapter 4. And why is Xaden like Edward from Twilight? That's all I can think about when I'm reading this. And it's like, I guess it's not funny, it's like serious, but they just like got intimate, and he like channeled when touching her, and and he's like freaking out about it, and he's like, I can't afford to lose control around you. Not even the edge of it. Not like that. Not at all. Like, that's literally Edward. Like, won't even touch her. Like, they barely kiss. That's what they're becoming now. Edward and Bella from Twilight. Like, that's all I can think about when I'm reading this. But yeah. Just a thought. I'm so curious if anyone else thought the same thing. That's all I can think about. So it's been a little over a week since I made an update, and I've actually made like a huge dent on the book so far. I think when I ended, I was talking about getting to page 100, and now I'm on almost 200. So I really wanted the audiobook to this because I looked it up, and the audiobook is like 24 hours, and the text is so small to me. So I was like, okay, like I'm super busy. There's no way I'll be able to finish this and upload a reading vlog if I don't have the time to read it. So I went to Libby and I requested the audiobook, and I literally thought there's no way I'm going to get it in like the next day or two, because I was literally starting this reading vlog when I requested it. And there's no way I'm going to get it. Like, there's like over 100 people ahead of me, and I don't know what it was because they didn't have like that many copies. But Libby, like, literally not even 24 hours later, it said that it was ready. I was so surprised and so thankful because I've been able to read a lot of this, like, on my commute to work and back. So I wrote down some thoughts that I want to touch on before I start reading again. So, since I've been reading, I feel like so much stuff is happening in like a really good way. Like, I'm super focused in, and since last time we ended off, like Tarn has almost died. I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like, what? Like pretty early. I think I didn't even think I was on page 100 yet. So he almost died, and then Brady dies. So I was like, what? Like, there's so much stuff happening. And currently in the story, they're off. It's hard because I think they're still looking for Indarna. When Brady died, Violet was sent with a group of people that she didn't choose. She didn't want them, and people got hurt, and they barely made it back. Not barely made it back. It was an unsuccessful mission to her, so she was able to get her own group to go this next time. I'm pretty sure they're in Deverelli, and they're at Takaris' manor. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll edit or I'll cut this part out. But the hard part is like I'm following the story, but it's still very like plot heavy. So there's some parts that I am a little confused about. I was really mad in Iron Flame with Kat in this whole Kat and Xaden thing, and Xaden and Violet having this like miscommunication trope and all that stuff, right? But I think it's Holden is his name, and in this book, which is Violet's ex-boyfriend, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's not really a miscommunication trope. It's more of a jealousy trope between Xaden and Violet, like with Holden. I'm really curious where they're actually going to take his character, Holden's character. What I've noticed so far is that they're really worried about what, like, Xaden going to, like, I don't know what it is, technically, like, the dark side, I guess. But nothing really he has done has proven it. Like, I wish there was more, and I'm not one for dual point of views, but I feel like this book would have been really cool in a dual point of view, because I really want to see, like, yes, Xaden's saying A, B, C, but is his internal thoughts, is that what he's actually thinking, or is he just saying it to, like, appease Violet, right? So I'm really curious about that, and I really hope we can see more of his perspective later on, or more stuff will come out about him, because so far, like, yeah, like, his eyes are red at some points, and they're like little things, but it's not like, I don't feel like we've seen him struggle a lot so far. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Enough rambling. I'm going to start reading, and I'm going to record this time. So I'm currently 38% done with the book, and I'm going to start reading again and see how far I can get in like an hour. I have class in like an hour and a half, so I'm going to try to read just for an hour and then talk about some of my thoughts with how much I read and am able to get through. Oh my gosh. So I'm really curious if this is the calm before like the storm, because Xaden has, like, there's no magic there, so he's not feeling tempted by anything. And so, like, even right now, he's asking Dane questions about him and Violet growing up. And, like, everyone's super shocked. They're like, who is this guy, right? So I'm so curious if it's like, oh, like, it's all good here. And, like, maybe, this is my guess. I don't know if it'll happen, but maybe, like, he'll get used to it there, and then when he gets back, the temptation will be worse, because he just was at a place where there's no magic and no temptation, so he got used to it or something. I don't know. I just feel like I just have a bad feeling, like, yes, like, he's happy now, but I feel like something is on the horizon that's not good. Yo, I have a bad feeling that Riddick is going, or Riddick, I'm gonna probably saying his name wrong, is going to die before the end of the whole series. Maybe not this book, but definitely by the end of the whole series is my guess.
because especially in like a big series, they always like keep around the funny guy until like it's not funny anymore, and so they're like, oh, it's time to kill them off. Like the funny person always dies, I feel like. So, and I don't want him to die because I like when the mood is lightened when I'm reading books, but I have a bad feeling that he's gonna die.
Does anyone else, when they're reading, try to figure out like what face this might be? Like, I just read this, and for the past like 2 minutes I've been like trying to make the face and have no idea, because it says, so Narelle, the old 93, 97-year-old lady helping them, who has Violet's dad's books and has been keeping them safe waiting for Violet these past few years, she thought Xaden was Dane, because Violet's dad wrote like, oh, predicting that Dane and Violet would end up together, blah, 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 blah. And so she talks to Xaden like he's Dane, and then Xaden raises both eyebrows and presses his lips between his teeth. So is it like that? Like kind of like a, or like a, so they are in Deverelli. Halden is with, like, I think he's talking to the ruler or whatever. He's at the palace though, and he has like a meeting while they are, without Halden knowing, they are going to find these books which they just found. But Violet has to open them, like always, because he always has, her dad always makes it hard for them to figure out anything, I feel like. But another thought that just came to me when I was reading this was her last question. She was asked 3 questions to get these books that her father wrote for her from Narelle. And the last question that Narelle asked her was, what made you leave the prince? She asked that question, like Halden. What made Violet leave Halden? I think the prince is going to play a really big part in the ending of this book, because I feel like they're really pushing him to like be more in the plot. Like the first book, Dane and Xaden, like her being in love with Dane and then switching to Xaden later on, and those characters were just like, I feel like gradually introduced, and it didn't feel forced at all. It just felt very natural how everything played out. Like this, like, why is that the third question? Like, for her to get the book, you know? I feel like it would have been like another difficult question. Like question 2 was like having to do with her, with the book, like, and I thought it would be another question based off like what does it say in this your dad's book, or what's a theory that your dad has told you, and what are your thoughts on it, da, 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 da. Like, I don't know, like something more intellectual maybe I thought was going to be it. Like ever since Halden was introduced, I feel like it's Halden, like, and it doesn't need to be though. Like I feel like the story, if you just took him out, like it wouldn't be, so far at least, it wouldn't be that different, you know? But yeah, right now I'm feeling like it's a little forced. So because of that, my prediction is that he'll be a part of the ending in this book, I think. Because like if he was a part of the ending or a big part of the next book, I feel like it would be more gradual in this book. But because he's being so forced in the story, it has to be this book, right? So I'm back. It's the next day. I'm about 50% through. I'm on chapter 29 on page 252. I'm hoping to be done by Sunday. That's my goal. I just wanted to check in and like let y'all know my thoughts on some things. So to start off, I'll start with the littlest thing, but what I was like, I know like Dane's always been like a big supporting character in the series, like becoming more prominent. I'm thinking the author wants to make him more integrated in the story, because I mean, I've never seen really him and Sloane interact that much. I mean, they might have in Iron Flame, right? But like, y'all, I need to reread it. I don't want to. I need to reread that book, because like I felt like I was really forcing myself to get through it.
So I feel like there probably was a lot I missed. Like, could someone tell me, were they like interacting in that book? Because like, why all of a sudden does it seem like she has a crush on him? Like, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just like, well, why is this just getting integrated now? Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know how many books she's trying to make of this. So maybe it's like, another thing that was tripping me up is like, I was listening to names and I'm like, who are some of these people? Like, it's hard because I'm trying to keep track of the plot. Like, what is going on? I mean, I'm bad at keeping up with the names, as y'all heard probably in the last slide when I didn't know what Davarelli is or whatever. But I'm trying to keep up with the plot, but they're also introducing new characters. Like, I mean, maybe not new, but who the is Derek? I literally had to look him up. I was like, who is Derek? Because I keep hearing his name, like when they were in Davarelli, like Derek, and I'm like, who's Derek? I mean, he doesn't say much so far, so I'm like, who is that guy? Anyways, so when Halden was captured and they went to go like rescue him, they were getting attacked, like Violet was and Xaden. To save Violet, Xaden channeled the venom, and then like now his eyes aren't going back to normal, they're like auburn. So I was right with the fact that I felt like it was like the calm before the storm. I mean, I thought it was going to be worse when he got back. I didn't think that it was going to be like, oh, something bad happened to Violet and then he channels it, where no magic is supposed to be channeled. So it's like, he really had to like dig deep inside of him, I feel like, to like channel it. And which I feel like makes it stronger now, even though he says he's okay. Yeah. And then it's the first time Violet had just seen Xaden in like a whole week. And she saw that his eyes were maroon, right? The second year struggling to beat their opponent, and then they start turning into a venom. And then Violet thinks like, oh, like, wouldn't Xaden have known? Because like, they can sense each other unless they're like old or powerful or something, right? So but this one seemed young. I don't know. That's my guess, right? So why didn't Xaden say anything? I think it makes it interesting that it's not dual point of view, because like us, like as the readers, guessing like what is going in his head, like why is he not speaking up about some things. So I do think it's interesting not knowing his point of view, but I as a reader would be more interested if it was like flip-flop every other chapter. And I'm saying that as someone who hates dual point of views. Like, I hate them. I do not like them. Because there's always a point of view that you hate being on, right? So the last thing I'm going to say is that, like, when you read the description, like what the book is about, right? Like, you have an idea, like, okay, like, I think this book is going to go here, here, here. But I'm reading and I'm like, okay, they're trying to find, like, where Andarna came from. Like, right? They're searching the Isles. But then they're also trying to find a cure for Xaden. But there has to be something more that happens. It can't just be, like, those two things. But they just were talking about how they're going to go on this, like, month-long or longer expedition and just not come back. So it's kind of like they're going to just, like, desert in their positions and then just come back. Like, kind of like ask for forgiveness, not ask for permission. But they're not taking all their friends. Like, in the last chapter, Bodhi said, take Garrick. Like, don't take me, take Garrick. Like, because they can only take a certain amount of people, right? So, I don't know. I am definitely curious with being 50% through. Like, I have no idea where it's going to go. I have a feeling that, like, it's going to end. This is my guess. I have a feeling that it's going to end with Xaden, like, leaving, like, disappearing. And, like, following the Venin. And then, like, the Venin have talked to Violet, like, hey, like, we want you to, like, we could take you anytime we want. Like, we want you to come on your own accord, right? So, I have a feeling, like, Xaden's going to disappear and go to, like, the dark side. And that, like, Violet's going to follow. And that'll be, like, the next book is from, like, them living in the Venin. I don't know if I'm just saying this, like, because the story's not really leading towards that, but I think that'd be a cool book. I think that would be an interesting book. Like, what's the other side like? We'll see. That's my guess. We'll see if I'm right by the end of this video. Hey guys, it's been like 2 days. I'm currently 75% through the book. I'm on chapter 46, so I have about 20 chapters left because I think there's 66 chapters in the book. And I just wanted to chime on here real quick because I've been reading and listening to the audiobook, so there's a lot that I need to update y'all on. So to start out, it's been so long, like so much has happened. So sorry if this might be like a little all over the place. I feel like this reading vlog is gonna just be chaotic. That's just how it's gonna be. But to start out, so they've been going to the different aisles, and I can't remember which one it was. But Violet, she goes to this aisle and she sees people with the same hair color as hers. Like the ends are like what, silver? And I have a feeling that's gonna come back like later on. Like, not saying she's adopted or anything, but that maybe she has family like on that aisle, or there's some sort of mix. I don't know. The author just wouldn't put that in there if it didn't have something correlated, I feel like. So that's something that really stood out to me. Now onto the bigger things. Riddick almost gets stabbed and gets his flight jacket. There's so many aisles back to back to back to back that I feel like it all gets super muddled. So I just was looking through it. So much stuff happens at Xaden's mom's aisle where she's at that it's so hard to get straight. So Riddick, however you say his name, he almost gets stabbed, right? His like jacket gets stabbed, and the kitchen's quarters, right? Then, and they're in the kitchen. I'm pretty sure they're in the kitchen. I don't know if this happened before or after, but they're in the kitchen looking for the antidote because Garrick is dying, right? Because he ate the cake when he wasn't supposed to eat the cake. And then Xaden's mom, like, I forgot that Xaden's mom was even alive. It's been a while. Like, the spacing of the books have been a while, so I kind of forgot. Like, I thought she died. Like, I forgot that she left. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's alive. When that's probably common sense that she was. But, and then the fact that Xaden has brothers now, like half-brothers. And I'm pretty sure, wasn't the ruler of the aisle the mother's new husband? And he was being like a complete a-hole to them. So like, way to go for like family bonding, I guess. But yeah, I really feel like Xaden's mom's gonna play into it more. And I feel like she's gonna play into, because it's, the aisle is like the aisle of knowledge, like this island that they went to. So I have a feeling if there is a cure, even though I'll get onto that one because I have figured out some stuff. But if there is a cure, or somewhere out there, even if no one knows it, I feel like she's gonna play a major role in finding it, because that's like where all the knowledge is, on that island. Like, I don't know. I have some type of feeling. Something with how Xaden may live at the end. I have two theories. That's one of them. May live at the end is because of his mother. So Riddick and Violet have a conversation, and Riddick sees Xaden's eyes, and Riddick doesn't know Xaden is like becoming Venom, right? So he pulls Violet, they have a one-on-one conversation, and he's like, what's the point to where there's like, we need to kill him, pretty much. Like, what's that point? If he's gonna be a part of our group, what's the boundary? Like, when can we say, like, okay, he's too far gone, like, let's hit him, right? They agreed upon when Xaden, like, attacks any of their friends or dragons, but overall, when Xaden attacks Violet, like, with no purpose, like, just because, that's, like, he's gone. Like, he's too far gone, right? And so this conversation just makes me think, like, okay, in the next book or two, maybe by the end of this book, he's gonna attack him. And like, I don't know if he's necessarily gonna die, but I think he's gonna like get kicked out and like go live with the Venom or something. Also, going back just a little,
there's the aisle where they choose the cards, right? And every card, they're supposed to say thank you for their gift, even if it's like a terrible, terrible gift. And then Traeger gets shot. He pulls an arrow and he gets killed. And before that, like literally the aisle right before that's when they start developing their relationship, like with Zayden's mom's aisle. I need to know the names, but it's just too many. That aisle. They start developing their relationship, and like, I don't know, maybe he's in more of the books. I just don't really think of him on the same level I think of like everyone else, like Sawyer or Liam, like when Liam died, or like Riddick, even though I cannot pronounce his name. Violet, Ree, like even Imogen, like those characters, or Bodhi or Garrick, I just think of them so high. Traeger I didn't really have like much of a thought about prior, and then they barely set up their relationship, and then when he gets absolutely like, I was like, okay. Like it was a sad moment, but like I wasn't sad. And I was actually reading the physical copy. Like when I read that scene, I wasn't listening to the audiobook, and it usually hits me more when I'm reading the book, and I still was like, oh, that's sad, but like I had no emotional connection to him. Like if you're going to just kill someone off and make it a whole big thing, and Kat's crying and screaming or whatever, and her mouth's getting covered, like I don't know, I just didn't feel like the weight of it. And I think the author, my one setback with this author is I feel like she really needs to work on developing stuff before just killing someone off. Like these are all meaningless deaths. Like if you're gonna kill someone, like so many people have died, I feel like, in this book, or almost died. Like when Garrick almost died, I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, right? Like Riddick, I thought he got stabbed. I was like, oh no, no, no. I need that with the characters that she chooses to kill. It's like all the characters she chooses to kill, like even what's his face, the Arc's older brother. I forgot his name because he hasn't been in the book in a while. But when his like guard gets killed, like I was like, oh my gosh, surprised maybe, but not like upset. I don't know. Also, we find Andarna's dragons, and I actually did like this, what Rebecca did with this, I really, really liked it. So, they left Andarna as a test to see if the humans had like changed. And because of Violet's actions, Andarna, like her wing never was able to fully, properly grow. And because of Violet's actions, Andarna became like stunted in a sense. And her mindset was more about like war than peace, is like what those dragons were like saying. And I thought that was a really cool aspect, and I definitely think the dragons are going to come back around later on, but I'm very curious like where Darna's going to go from that point. Like she pretty much was told like, we don't want you, by her family that she's been searching like weeks for, right? So, and then last thing, this is the second time, also pissed me off, second time I'm wanting to hear a conversation. I've already said this in the beginning. I wanted to hear what Imogen and Violet were talking about. I was very curious what they were talking about at the beginning of the book, and they never showed that conversation. Then this time around, Riddick is like, we're going to have to tell them. We get to the point where she sits them down, and Riddick's like, tells Violet, if you don't tell them, I'm going to. And then she opens her mouth, and then the chapter ends, and then it skips it. It skips the conversation. What were the reactions? Were they upset at first? Were they understanding? Like, I wanted to know that. And, like a lot of books are plot-driven rather than, like, relationship-driven. And I think this is trying to be more plot-driven. But to me, like, what I find interesting in this book are the conversations. And you can't just cut out those conversations. Two that I really, really was like, okay, I'm excited to hear what's next. And then it's like, you're just like, nope, you're not going to hear it. You're never going to hear it. You're never going to know what happens. Let's hope when they make a TV show of this, they incorporate those conversations. I know I just dumped a lot of thoughts on y'all, but I'm hoping I can check in again without
before I finish the book. Like, I'm hoping to do like one or two more check-ins before then. So let's get back to reading.
Hi you guys, it's been a while since I have filmed that last video. Probably over a month, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, so a little bit about that is I finished the book and the ending was like a lot, which I'm going to be talking about. And so I kept telling myself, like, I need to pick up the camera, but I haven't picked it up and I'm editing it now and I'm like, oh my god, I never picked up the camera. So here is me talking about the ending. I had to go back and like refresh myself a little bit. So sorry if the details might be a little bit off. It was just, the ending was so much, you guys. So let's dive right into the ending, or into the last 25%. I think I ended when I was 75% off. So here are a few of the thoughts I did write down at the time and then more on the ending. So the first thing is they talked about the new kid, Lynx. I think his name's Lynx, or maybe he's not new, but he has the same powers Xaden has, which is wielding the shadows. And so my kind of thoughts on this aspect and why I wanted to talk more about it is I think that whatever it is, the powers, like whether they're from the earth or they're like magic or whatever they are, I think they're like rejecting him and they don't consider him like a real human anymore, because it talks about how those powers are only seen like once in someone's lifetime. So when Xaden dies or when the powers are supposed to come back again, like there's never two shadow wielders at the same time, right? So I think that the magic or whatever it is, his powers don't consider him real anymore, like truly human. And so that's why we see another person get his exact same powers to wield the shadows, right? I think, or I'm hoping, that this comes into play in one of the later books, maybe even the next one, where they two have to face off. Like, I really am hoping that they make this character become a bigger person and that maybe they have to fight or do something, because I think it'd be really cool to see the two powers that are never seen together ever like go against one another and see who like wins. I think that would be really cool. The next is Violet has a second signet. So her second signet is dream hopping, so she can go into other people's dreams. And while I feel like it was like a little underwhelming in this book, I think it'll be play a big role this next book, especially with Xaden gone. And I feel like if she's not going to go chase after him, I feel like it's a way that you'll be able to communicate with each other. Hopefully, I think that would be like a really cool thing. And if it's not a bigger impact in this next book, maybe in the later books, I do think it's going to have an overarching big impact, hopefully. Obviously, we learned that Andarna's bond with Violet breaks, and I don't think it's actually broken, and I've seen a few theories online about this, that it's not broken, it's just like bent, because she does come back at the end of the book, right? And there has to be something that she still could feel that she needed help, or I don't know. I think it has like a bigger impact. Andarna came back at the very end, so I think that it's bent, and like Andarna can maybe still feel it, but Violet can't. And I think they're gonna be able to like reconnect, repair it in a later book, maybe even the next book. Something that really irked me in this book was that there were a lot of deaths. And none of them were that big to me. Like, everyone that died, I was like, oh, okay. And then the book had me at the very end. Like, the book drew me in. When Mira was dying. And then Brennan and Dane and Sloane try to bring her back, and they end up bringing her back, right? Imagine the impact this book would have if it would have just followed through with her death, right? Like,
or a big death. It doesn't have to just be her. It could have been like literally anyone else that's a main character. Like, cause I think this book really needed something like that. And last book it was like Violet's mom. And like, while that was a big death, like we weren't attached to her. Like I really want this book to take away, I really wanted this book to take away someone that we were like attached to and like had built that bond with them over the books, just to like lose them and like really feel that. And I don't think Rebecca really followed through with that this book, and I was a little disappointed. Like it didn't have to be Mira. Like they could have still brought Mira back but lose someone else also of like equal importance, right? That was the thing I was a little disappointed with in this book. And then Xaden ends up channeling and completely, and then turns, I think, completely into Venom. Like he ends it completely changed. His person on the dark side, see, there's so many names, I don't even know, tells him how he has a new brother, and I'm curious if it's, I think it's someone big. So it's either Bodhi or Garrick, like someone he's really close to. Or I think it'd be really cool if he actually had like a new character. What if he had like another brother that he didn't know about from his actual dad and his actual mom, like them two, and it's that person. I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think it might be like Bodhi or Garrick, but I think that'd be cool if it was like a different character as well. So then the book ends with Violet waking up like 12 hours later or whatever, and she can't remember anything, and Brandon's like, we've been looking for you. And then she got married to Xaden, and then he's gone, and he leaves her a note saying like, don't come looking for me, pretty much. And Imogen wiped her memory because it was what Violet wanted, right? I think in the next book, that's where it kind of ties back into what I was saying earlier, where even if she doesn't end up looking for him, which I think there's a chance she will, she'll still try to like find a way to communicate with him, and that will maybe end up being her dream, her second signet, the dream hopping. It also ends with it pretty much saying there's 4 writers are missing, and we know 2 of those are Xaden and Garrick, and 2 are unknown. And then 4 are dead, which is 1 we know was Pantrek, I think. And then there's the other 3 we're unsure about. And then there's 3 elders, like I think it's dragon. I think it means dragon elders. 3 elders are missing, which I saw a theory on this that I thought was pretty cool, that what if the 3 dragons are missing so that Sigale, Tarn, and Andarna can become the elders, or Sigale, Tarn, and one other dragon, maybe Mira's dragon or someone else can become the elders. I don't know. I really did like the book. I liked it more than Iron Flame, which I can't say that everyone else felt the same, like based off what I've been seeing online. I feel like people thought this was, I've seen online that some people have been saying this is like a repeat, which I don't know, I still found this one more interesting. I think because it took so long to figure out where this book was going, and then with the ending, I think I'm going to give it like a 4.25 out of 5, maybe like a 4 out of 5. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. Well, I mean, I have thought on it. It's been a month, so actually, I do think it'll be a 4.25 out of 5. And yeah, so I'm sorry for the delayed ending part of it, but I really hope you guys like this type of video. I'm going to make another reading vlog on Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, which will be up probably in the next week or 2. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next week, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!